Welcome back, Definitely Not Definitive. I'm Ken.
And I'm Bethany.
And we're a couple of couch potatoes in love that love reacting to some Castlevania Nocturne.
Yes, we do.
So this is season 1, episode 6 that we're checking out today. And you can get full reactions and early ad-free access over on Patreon. Links in the description of this video. Are you ready to do this?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Let's do it. Elaborate.
Yeah, quite an entrance.
Welcome to France, Your Magnificent. Your long and tedious journey is almost over.
It's pretty cool.
Soon we will force our father down on his knees to grovel in the mud for mercy. But there will be no fucking mercy. I will cut off his head and suck out his brains and spit them into the dust. Soon there will be only darkness.
We still have a way to travel.
But I'm so thirsty, Trota.
She's been tasting some food for you.
I'm told he begged for his own life rather than hers.
For his own life rather than hers.
Oh yes. This is much, much sweeter.
Ooh. That's cool. They're just alike.
Mm-hmm.
Full moon.
And like, she made such an entrance and seemed so grand, but I thought that was part of the presentation. But then when you see her next to the girl, it's like, oh, she's a very large woman. She's tall and very imposing.
Quite an introduction to the Vampire Messiah.
Where the fuck have you been all my life? I came to this country when I was 10, knowing absolutely nobody. And if it wasn't for Auntie Tara, who isn't really my auntie, more some sort of third cousin 1,000 times removed.
She promised not to tell you where to find me.
What are you talking about?
And she kept that promise.
She didn't tell you?
No.
In answer to your question, all the time. Since you came to France, keeping an eye on you.
Secretly.
Well, when you put it like that, I suppose it sounds a bit creepy.
And Tara knew.
I thought it was for the best.
You didn't want me to know. I had an actual fucking grandfather living a few miles away.
I didn't.
Train him.
You might expect things from me. Advice, encouragement, birthday presents. Who the hell wants that?
What a dick.
Where are you going now? You're a Belmont. You're not supposed to hide in a hut. And you're not supposed to kill vampires for money.
Some cool shadows.
I was a hero once. I lost count of how many vampires I killed heroically. The whip was mine, but I had other powers. One of our ancestors 300 years ago was a great sorceress.
Cypher, I know everything about the history of our family.
I watched the first season.
You sound so much like her. I was the most powerful magician the Belmont line ever produced. I could roast a whole nest of them with a burst of flame.
So when did you
Damn.
I had a wife, your grandmother, and a friend, if you can believe that. A vampire killed them both. Lord Ruthven, that's a name I haven't spoken aloud in years. I held her in my arm, pleading with her to come back to me. And across the hall, my friend, butchered, and for a while not quite dead.
Oh.
The magic left me. I had nothing. Nothing. Evil will always win, Richter.
Oh,
It will always be stronger than us. It will always be more.
saying that like Ulrux is
Worse.
more powerful than Dracula.
And they'll murder the people you love. Evil will always win.
See, you missed out on these pep talks all these years.
Yeah.
Are you here?
Oh, kid.
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it. Oh my god. 2 broken people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's impressive.
Spirit world. Harmonic conversions.
But I lost Edouard.
Though not his soul, take courage from that.
The Belmont boy turned out to be useless as fuck.
Everyone starts by running away, Annette.
How can you possibly compare that? It's been growing roots for centuries. And this vampire messiah, she's older still.
Your power is old too, Annette.
They were no match for some ancient Egyptian devil god.
Because you're not listening. Everything about you, it's the source of your fury, but it's not the source of your power. Learn to hear your ancestors. There is light in this darkness.
Almost looked like he was gonna cry.
Mournful that day, when from the dust shall rise guilty men to be judged. Why was the Belmont boy so afraid of you?
I've lived a long time, but I've only really loved once. The revolutionaries, he fought with them. He almost made me believe in it, too. Then Julia Belmont killed him.
And you did that to him. Did you even ask permission?
I wanted him to be with me forever.
Selfish.
You have planned for me.
Of course not, Mizrak. I'm not in love with you.
You're just a side piece.
Do you remember who you were?
I remember being out in the woods, and a girl who liked talking. I liked what she said. My name was Jacques.
Was what?
Jacques, I think?
Jacques? Hey, Dad.
That is not happiness to see him.
Mm-hmm.
Do they know?
Of course not.
Ashamed to tell them, are you?
Mm.
I mean, you're a priest, so you're supposed to keep it in your pants. But everyone knows most priests don't.
They are dishonorable priests.
Though fathering a few brats here and there doesn't count for much compared to summoning devils from hell. Or does the Pope do that too?
Yeah.
We do whatever we have to do in the name of God.
Oh, for God, was it? That you ignored me my whole life?
I haven't ignored you, Maria. I know, for instance, that you're a witch.
You're not seriously accusing me of black magic.
Join me.
Hell no. Yep.
Please, don't stand in God's way.
You are not God, dude.
Mm-hmm. But, oh, he's, you know, everything he does is in his name. So it's okay.
Long ago, when I was still human, I watched men wade ashore from ships and slaughter my people. Slaughter them in their thousands. They said they were doing it for their God. Sometimes their king, too, but always their God. But in the end, it was only her.
In the end, what?
I don't know. He kind of mumbled it and I didn't hear it.
I've been looking for you. He says this is God's plan.
Have courage. There is light in this darkness.
Look who's an optimist now.
And in this prison, do you accept it as your fate?
No.
He's gonna lead a night creature revolution.
Was it quick? Julia's death, was it quick?
Not really. She was looking right at me when she died. I mean, I could tell when her life stopped. I saw it in her eyes.
Haunting image.
And then Olrox let me go.
She was proud, your mother. She said she didn't need me. But of course, I should have gone with her anyway. I was a terrible father. But well, the most important thing is to face the truth about yourself, even if it's not very pretty.
I don't know if that's the most important thing, but
I need a piss.
If you can face the truth of yourself, then nobody can use your demons against you.
sounds like he's using his demons against himself.
Mm-hmm. Trust your instincts, dude.
I don't know, this might be a little off right now.
I'm not saying like kill when you see movement, but trust that, you know.
Ooh!
There's some.
You were right! Skipping him. Oh! Your eyes are so shallow. And that's why he's not helping.
Yep.
So there, here we are. The Belmont clan, soon to be extinct. Are you going to beg?
Nope, he's gonna bust out his magic.
Maybe not his. You hardly know him. But back in Mashku, they're family, aren't they? Sort of. And the black girl, wherever the fuck she's from. You could. Often, she hangs you by your arms with hooks through the bones. Sure you don't bleed out too fast. You can be conscious for days. It's wonderful. If they're lucky, she'll turn them. What do you think of that?
All right, one of you has got to tap into the magic that's hidden, that you've repressed for so long. There we go.
Did he just go Super Saiyan?
Yeah, he went straight to blue. Did he just char them all? Okay. Huh.
Ooh.
All the elements.
He's Sub-Zero and Scorpion all in one.
What was that about you? You had the most powerful magician? Might be Richter now.
Yeah, I'll say.
Oh yeah, you. As I walk on my puddle of fire.
Slowly.
Mm-hmm.
There's something you forgot about Belmont. Stupid of me. I'd forgotten it too.
We know Kung Fu. Nice.
I was going to say something witty and cutting and brutal before I finished you off.
But
fuck it.
Yeah, I was gonna say this thing. I was gonna say, but fuck it.
Damn. I think Belmont found his power.
Oh yeah, he did.
I can do magic again.
Yeah.
I noticed.
I know Kung Fu.
I have to live. There are people I love. Pity it didn't work like that for you. I'm much younger than you. That's probably all it is.
Yes.
Cool shot.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have anyone else that he loved. That was his problem. Well, I mean, I guess he had his daughter that he should have thought about, but...
In the end, it was only her.
Great ending. Finally tapped into his power.
And I'm just gonna call him Grandpa Belmont.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't not care because he's been watching Richter this whole time. But sort of what I was hearing was he has so much self-loathing and feels himself so unworthy because the people closest to him, he got killed. He blames himself. I'm not saying he actually did it. He's denied himself a relationship with his only living family member.
Because, yeah, if you blame yourself for getting the people you love killed, then you want to keep everyone that you care about as far away from you as possible so that they don't end up getting hurt as well. But it's like also like to protect yourself from feeling any more pain. So there's self-preservation that way. Yeah, it's just obviously like no way to live. I mean, what he was talking about as far as like evil is always going to win and, you know, it doesn't matter how much good you do. It's like, well, evil's always going to happen. Like you're never like it's always going to pop up using God to like, you know, and their faith or whatever to justify their hate. Like that was what the priest said. He's like, everything I do, he's like, I have to do in the name of God, I think it was.
Or or everything I do in God's name.
Yeah, and it's like, but there was like I have to do it I think it was something like around there. I have to instead of like he said it that way, but what he really means is that, well, everything I want to do, I do in the name of God. So like, you know, that's like a justification for what he wants to like what he wants to do. I'm not saying that he wants to do you know, to make these night creatures or whatever, but he wants everyone to believe what he believes, and so in order to do that, he'll do whatever it takes, and in the name of God, and like, you know, not even thinking about what I mean. If you think about what God wants, I mean, I guess there's the vengeful God in the Old Testament, so that's a little different.
It's really tragic when you have people who go around doing terrible things, but in the name of God, because it's that kind of representation that makes people hate religion. Mm-hmm. Religion in itself isn't inherently evil, but many religions have a sect of people who use their religion to justify being terrible people. Obviously, he doesn't think of himself as a terrible person, but he's making an army of demons. He's a raging hypocrite.
Yes.
And he's doing everything. All of his hypocrisy is okay because it's in God's name. And like, it's that kind of thing that is what I think has driven a lot of modern society to turn away from religion. Mm-hmm. And the thing too is like, you know, to kind of go back to what you were saying in the original thing, like we can't stop evil from existing. I think we kind of learned that in Legend of Korra. There's always going to be evil and good. Sometimes good's bigger, sometimes evil's bigger. We as an individual person cannot alter the course of an entire state, an entire country, an entire world. But we can do good every day and show kindness every day and show love every day. And doing that in our communities, that at times when evil is powerful and at times when like the horribly greedy or whatever kind of like seem to take over and win, those acts of defiance are small, but they can be impactful.
So I felt like this episode was the strongest as far as like the cinematography and like the symbolism and everything like that goes. Just like from the grand entrance of the vampire messiah, like to like the like her dress looking like the moon like covering up the kid that she was devouring, and like the shot at the end there obviously was great, but then also like Belmont and Grandpa Belmont like side by side, and like right after his speech about Grandpa Belmont's speech about how, you know, there's evil's always gonna win, and he just kind of like basically like the magic left him, and it was the same thing that like with Richter, and like they were just side by side, and it's like, okay, this is what you could end up as, is you could end up as him. I
found it interesting, the idea sort of like of despair, which came in twice in this. One, I think, in what you just described, which was like basically Grandpa Belmont is like the personification of despair.
Yeah.
Evil's always going to win. Life is shit. There's no point having people you love around you. You're just going to get them killed. Like, he is despair. And then also the vampire messiah, when she was looking at her prey, her victim.
Oh, yeah.
And she said, you know, and I'm paraphrasing this, but she said, "I'm so tired of empty terror. Yours is much sweeter, despair."
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like, well done on the writing, you know, because like that just stuck with me. And the idea that essentially are evildoers in the world, because it's a little bit different from the first Castlevania, where, you know, we had, I think, a little more connection to the vampires through Alucard and found like an empathetic road there. In this, they really are set up much more to be the villains.
Yeah.
So like our villain team is literally getting essentially like high off of the taste of despair. And like that is the thing that is so delicious to them. So like that just in and of itself, like they really focused on despair as a thing right now.
Yeah, I love that speech, love that whole scene. Like outside of the first episode, I thought that was like probably the best opening scene that they've done as well.
I did like getting Oryx's backstory.
Yeah, that was explain a lot.
One, I just love how he opened it, as he seemed to be enjoying the music, and then said, you know, like, he's singing about, you know, woe is the day when, you know, the evildoers will rise up and be judged. And he's like, he's mocking you. I mean, he's not taking things personally. He seems to be sort of like a little bit on his heels and just observing what is this all going to be, which I guess if you've lived for as long as he has, since, you know, the ancient Aztecs, you probably aren't in a rush anymore. But then to get his backstory of falling in love with the Mohawk Indian or the Mohawk Native American, and how, you know, he loved his wildness and his passion. He was one with the forest and everything. And, you know, he found his real true love, it sounds like, in this person. So then having them stripped away, you go like, I get why he wanted to kill Richter's mom. I'm not saying it's okay, but like, we now understand. And who among us wouldn't, I'm not saying we would act on it, but like, who among us wouldn't have feelings and desires for vengeance if somebody that we had loved was ripped away from us? Like, that's a perfectly that's like the most human thing Horrocks has ever done.
Yeah. And I mean, it's kind of tough to blame, because I mean, they're like basically in a war, the Belmonts, you know, and the vampires, and so it's just like, you know, she killed someone he loved, and so he went after her. It's like, I don't know, good old fashioned revenge. Not saying I like him because of it, but at the same time, it's like that's not necessarily the thing that makes him evil, makes me hate him.
No, actually, like, he could have been really sadistic. He could have killed the child too. He could have killed the child in front of the mom. Like he could have, if he were evil, there is a whole bunch of options he had to show being evil. He really was, to what you said, just looking for revenge, looking to settle the score, probably just looking to kill his own pain.
Yeah.
And then he lets the child go, which, again, I'm not saying he's a great guy, but it takes him out of the running as one of the worst guys.
Let us know what you thought about this down below in the comments. And if you want our full watch-along reactions and early ad-free access, check out Patreon. Links in the description on this video. Thanks so much for watching Castlevania Nocturne with us, but just keep in mind
that our reaction is definitely not definitive.